Give the world a smile each day.
Welcome to Words to Encourage, the daily radio broadcast of the Bible Baptist Church of Grove City, Ohio. Everyone needs encouragement. We all need to be uplifted. With today's encouragement, here's our pastor, Stan Slater.
With a smile, a bright sunny smile.
Welcome to Words to Encourage. This is the daily radio broadcast of the Bible Baptist Church. And we are located in Grove City, Ohio, and I'm Brother Slabaugh. Well, good Monday to you. How was church yesterday? My, oh my. What a marvelous, marvelous Lord's Day we had here at Bible Baptist Church. Kicked off our Bible conference with evangelist John Hamlin. Been in evangelism for over 45 years and brought the messages yesterday morning and last evening, and it was wonderful. Wonderful Lord's Day, decisions made for Christ, and people responded well to the messages. And we're looking forward to the services tonight and tomorrow night. We'll get underway at 6:30. Of course, Dr. Hamlin will be preaching, and then Dr. Jeff Fugit. He pastors Clays Mill Baptist Church down in Lexington, Kentucky. And he will be with us Monday and Tuesday night as well. And so 6:30 we get underway. Come on out and join us if you can. I believe you'll receive a blessing. Well, I hope church was good where you were, and that you were in your place, and that you were a blessing to your church and to your pastor. And most of all, that God spoke to your heart, gave you what you needed on the Lord's Day. And you're ready to go here for these last couple days of March. And then we'll head right into the month of April. And we're in the week that is sometimes called the Passion Week. We will have our Good Wednesday service Wednesday night. We don't believe Christ was crucified on Friday. Why? Well, Jesus said, as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Well, Jesus in John 11 said, are there not 12 hours in the day? And there were. They considered the daytime 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. The nighttime was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So 12 hours of day, 12 hours of night. So the Lord Jesus could not have been 12 hours of day, 36 hours of day, 36 hours of night, and be crucified on a Friday. It just won't work. And so we believe in Good Wednesday is when he was crucified. We'll celebrate that Wednesday night at 6:30 with our Good Wednesday service. But if your Bible's nearby, Mark 15. Mark 15. Let's start reading at verse number 21. And they compel one Simon, a Cyrenian, who passed by, coming out of the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his cross. And they bring him unto the place, Golgotha, which is being interpreted, the place of a skull. And they gave him to drink wine mingled with myrrh, but he received it not. And when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, casting lots upon them, what every man should take. And it was the 3rd hour, and they crucified him. All right? Some people have what they call a bucket list. I'm not a fan, but some people do. And what it is, it's a list of things they want to experience or places they want to see before they die. Well, if a Jew in that day had a list of where he'd like to be or something he'd like to do before he died, it would be to visit Jerusalem. Simon would have dreamed of that day all of his life. The day that he would first enter Jerusalem. For those with Hebrew heritage, it was the most important place in the world. The place where Abraham almost offered his only son, Isaac. The city that King David made his capital. The land where Solomon built the first temple. The place where Jeremiah and Isaiah prophesied, and Nehemiah rebuilt the wall. But what he wanted to see most was a new temple. Herod's temple, they called it, because King Herod had expanded and remodeled the old temple before he went crazy with suspicion. Work on it had begun several decades ago. And while the main structure was done, some perimeter areas remained incomplete. And so, while it wasn't recognized like one of the wonders like the pyramids of Egypt, it was a most endearing structure for all the descendants of Abraham. You might say that Jerusalem would have been Simon's most favorite place in the world that he'd never been, and he wanted to remedy that. Not just to be in Jerusalem, but to be there in its grandest time, Passover. Historians will estimate as many as 100,000 pilgrims come to Jerusalem annually for the Passover feast. Those who live within close enough proximity make the journey every year. But for others, like Simon, it was a dream just to get there once in a lifetime. Today you might say that seeing Jerusalem with his own eyes was something that he would have had on his list of things to do before he dies. But the journey would be no easy task. You see, Simon lived in Cyrene. It was located in North Africa. Oh, there were many Jews in Cyrene. Over the centuries, hardship and warfare had caused the spread of the Hebrews all over the world. And many years ago, Simon's ancestors settled there in Cyrene. Decades later, the population of Jews in Cyrene numbered in the tens of thousands. Even so, they were still a minority. While far from the land promised to Abraham thousands of years ago, they worked hard to preserve and observe their heritage, traditions, and practices. Ever since he was a little boy, Simon and his family observed the Passover. When he was the youngest at the dinner table, he would ask the opening questions, beginning with, "What makes this night different from all others?" And each year he'd be mesmerized at the story of how God used Moses and the 10 plagues to melt Pharaoh's heart to the point that he would let the Hebrew slaves go. He would get a chill down his spine when they told the story about the Passover lamb whose blood was placed over each family's door, meaning the death angel would pass over that home. Each year they retold the story. Each year they completed the Passover observance, and they would declare next year in Jerusalem. But to Simon it was just empty words, good intentions, but no real meaning to them. After all, it would require a journey of over 800 miles just to get there. It felt like it might have been 1,000,000 miles. Oh, it'd take months and an enormous amount of money for such a pilgrimage. But Simon was determined to see it with his own eyes. It was his dream. He didn't have magazines or picture books or postcards or the internet to give him even images of what it might look like. What he did have was the description of the people around him, some who had been to Jerusalem, some who had seen the temple, and they would tell about it in vivid detail. Though they spoke of support columns so massive, 3 men with outstretched arms were required to embrace them. Simon was told that the outside of the building was covered with so much gold that a person could scarcely look upon it in the direct sunlight. He heard about the priests going about their duties in robes made of the finest linen and walls 100 feet tall. Each rendering and story made Simon want to be there all the more, especially during Passover. If he's going to make the trip, he wanted to be there in the season of the grandest celebration. Simon began saving a little bit back every time money came into his hands. In time, his little pouch of gold became heavier and heavier. Eventually, he arranged to be gone from his family business. His parents and siblings could not understand why he would want to take such a trip, nor did any of them volunteer to go with him. Finally, the day of departure came. Oh, it was a full month until Passover, but that many days would be required to get there on time. Simon packed only what he could carry. Cyrene was located along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. So while the trip was long, the method of covering the distance was fairly simple. Simon went down to a nearby dock and booked passage on a ship sailing to Joppa. That's along the Palestinian coast. Joppa, of course, you remember that as the port Jonah sailed from before he got swallowed by the whale when he was fleeing where God wanted him to go. Simon couldn't escape the irony that Jonah left Joppa running away from God, and he was sailing to Joppa in order to experience God. From there, he could walk the 35 miles or so to Jerusalem. Now most of the people on the ship were crew, but several were fellow pilgrims going to Jerusalem for Passover, including several who had never been there before. As they passed the long days on board, they told Simon a bit of what to expect. Expect massive crowds of enthusiastic worshipers. Expect a close watch from the Roman guard whose task it was to squash any hint of rebellion. Expect the singing of the Passover songs. With such intensity, you'll wonder if angels themselves were joining in. Their stories only enhanced Simon's eagerness to be there to experience Passover for himself. After stopping in several ports to load and unload cargo and passengers, the day finally came when the ship docked in Joppa and the walk to Jerusalem. It was the 12th day of Nisan, 2 days before the Passover lambs were to be slaughtered, and just enough time to make the 2-day walk to Jerusalem. On the first day, Simon linked up with some other pilgrims and made camp with them, spent the night. The roads were too dangerous for anyone to venture along alone, but the next morning he waited for no one. He got up early at the early light, and when it was bright enough to see the road, he headed eastward toward Jerusalem. Along the dusty road, he straightened his eyes. He strained his eyes. He tried to look in the distance ahead to catch his first glimpse of the holy city. Jerusalem sits on a hill called Mount Moriah, but the mountains, some as tall as Mount Moriah, also surround it. So when Simon turned a corner and he got his first good look at Jerusalem, he was not looking up at a city, but down at it. It was magnificent. The walls were thick, formidable, but most impressive was the temple. It was so big. It dominated the entire city. And the central building Simon knew contained the holy place. It stood tall and impressive. Indeed, the gold was glistening in the morning sun. Simon covered those last miles as fast as he could. The closer he got to the city, the more crowded the road became. Finally, there he was at the western gate. Walking, he soon found himself in the flow of the crowd, up the narrow streets, lined with shops of numerous merchants. And that's where we're going to stop, and we'll pick it up tomorrow, okay? He's in Jerusalem. He's going to see something now that he didn't expect to see, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. The Simon we often forget about. Don't miss tomorrow's broadcast. We'll finish this story up about Simon of Cyrene. Thanks for listening to Words to Encourage Radio. Hope you have a great week. Hope to see some of you at our services tonight or tomorrow at 6:30. And then, of course, our Good Wednesday service, which will be Wednesday night at 6:30. Thank you for listening to Words to Encourage, and I'll look forward to being with you tomorrow on the broadcast. And until tomorrow, this is Brother Slayball reminding you, be good to everyone, because everyone's having a tough time.
Thank you for listening today. If this broadcast was an encouragement to you, we would love to hear from you. You can contact us by email at pastor@bbcgrovecity.org, or you can call us at area code 614-875-2190. We invite you to visit us at the Bible Baptist Church at 2758 Home Road in Grove City, Ohio. Our service times are Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday school and 10:30 for the morning worship service. We meet back together at 5:30 for our evening service and on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. We also host the Bridge to Recovery Ministry, a faith-based recovery program bringing transformation to hurting people and our community. We meet every Thursday at 6:30 in the evening. You can find more information at our website about this and other ministries of Bible Baptist Church at bbcgrovecity.org. We hope that today these were truly words to encourage. Words to Encourage is paid for by the generous members and supporters of the Bible Baptist Church in Grove City, Ohio.
The joy of serving Jesus with a smile, a bright sunny smile.